Hello everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to work some raised ridges, a raised ridge stitch. Now this stitch, like so many of the other ridge stitches, has a beautiful texture. It's similar on both sides, not quite the same. The texture does come through on one side, the front side more than the back side, but it's pretty close there. The stitch is fairly easy to work. It does have a little bit of a slight modification that makes it different again from some of the other ridge stitches, and that comes with our front post stitch, and I'll show you how that goes shortly. Today for the tutorial I'm going to be using a 5mm or an H8 crochet hook. This is the Birchwood crochet hook by Rowan Yarn. I'm also going to be using some worsted weight cotton, and this is the Pima Cotton by Lion brand. There are links to these items in the description of this video. Also down in the description you'll find a direct link to the free written instructions, which are on my website at richtexturescrochet.com. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around. This channel is updated every single week with free crochet patterns and stitch tutorials. Now our stitch today is worked in rows, so we're going to start by taking our yarn and making a slip knot. You're then going to work a foundation chain. Now your foundation chain for this stitch can be any multiple of stitches. Just remember that your starting chain 3 is going to be a turning chain. But other than that, you can work as many stitches as you'd like. So today I'm just going to go ahead and work 20 stitches. Once you have that foundation chain worked, you're going to begin row 1 by working a double crochet into the 4th chain from your hook, and then double crochet into each stitch all the way across. Once again, you're chained 3 at the start. It does count as a stitch. It will count as a double crochet stitch. So double crochet into that 4th chain, and then into each chain all the way across. At the end of row 1, you're going to chain 2, and this is going to count as a half double crochet, and turn your work. Now for row 2, we're going to be working front post half double crochet stitches all the way across, but with a slight modification. So what you're going to do is when you're working your front post stitches, you're actually going to be working them, instead of around the post of the stitch below, just under the top 2 loops and kind of in between your 2 stitches. So I'll show you what I mean. We're going to start with the spaces between our first 2 stitches. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook under the top 2 loops of the first stitch from front through to back, around and out through under the top 2 loops of the second stitch. So I'll show you that again. You're inserting your hook where you would normally work or place your hook to work a stitch. We're just working a post, so we're working around this little link here that's linking the 2 stitches together. So insert your hook from the front, around back, and out through the front of the next stitch. So you're working in stitches 1 and 2. Yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, and draw through all 3 loops. You're going to repeat this all the way across, beginning your next stitch in the same stitch as the previous. So yarn over. This time you'll be inserting your hook from front, around back of stitch 2, and then out through the back, from back to front of stitch 3. Yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. You're going to repeat this all the way across. Front post half double crochet, beginning with the same stitch as your previous front post stitch, all the way across your work until you come to that turning chain. So I'm going to keep working all the way across. It's going to be pushing the tops of your stitch forward through to the other side. And I find it just, when you work your front post stitch this way, it just gives it a little bit of a lighter texture than it would if you were working around the full post of the stitch down below. So you're just working all the way across. All the way across your work. I'm almost there until you come to that turning chain. When you come to your final stitches, you're working your final stitch around the post of those last two stitches, and then you have your turning chain. When you come to that turning chain, you're simply going to work a half double crochet into the top of that turning chain. You can then chain 3 and turn your work. You're then going to, for row 3, you're going to work front post double crochet stitches in the exact same way that you worked your front post half double crochet stitches, just this time working a front post double. So yarn over, insert your hook under the top 2 loops from front through to the back of the first stitch. Then you're going to go out around and out back through under the top 2 loops of the second stitch and complete your front post double crochet. You're going to do this all the way across, always beginning in the same stitch as your previous stitch was worked. So front post double crochet all the way across to your turning chain. So when you come all the way across your row 3, you're going to finish off that final double crochet. When you come to that turning chain, you're simply going to work a double crochet into the top of your turning chain. At the end of your row 3, you can chain 2 and turn your work. So you'll have one ridge on one side and a ridge on the other side. As far as the repeat is concerned in this pattern, that is it. For the rest of the pattern, you're simply going to repeat your row 2, which was your front post half double crochets all the way across, followed by your row 3, which was your front post double crochets all the way across. So you're simply going to repeat those 2 rows for as long as you would like, fasten off, weave in your ends, and that is how you work this raised ridges stitch. So thank you so much for joining me once again. Take a look around. Don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next week for another great stitch tutorial. Until then, happy crocheting. Bye.